Hello, beautiful people. I hope that this video brings you hope. I know what it's like to be sick. I spent a lot of years being sick. Celiacs and Graves' disease. And I cured them. Cured, 100% cured, not subclinical, with Kambo. Kambo is a frog toxin from the Philomedusa bicolor frog. It's a big green tree monkey frog. Now, this frog saved my life. It might save your life too. You should look into it. Do your own research, always. The frog kind of called out to me. I was seeing frogs everywhere and invited to Kambo ceremonies. Do not attempt to buy Kambo and do it yourself alone. You could die. If you don't do it correctly, it's really dangerous. Get a certified international Kambo practitioner. Google IAKP, International Association of Kambo Practitioners, to find a practitioner near you. Kambo is an ordeal medicine, meaning for 25 to 45 minutes, it's really unpleasant, but it's worth being cured for. Now, I shouldn't say Kambo cures anything because the FDA wouldn't allow that, but well, I'm not selling Kambo. I don't stand to profit off this. So I don't know what I can or can't say, but seriously, I'm telling you the truth. I have blood tests to prove it, and I'm gonna zoom in on that after. It did cure me. I strongly recommend you all look into the history of the Western medical system. Look into the Rockefeller-Carnegie thing that happened many decades ago. They just hijacked the whole Western medical system, and that's why you're never going to see a Western doctor prescribe anything natural, any kind of plant, whereas the Chinese will prescribe herbs and plants and medicines that are natural like that. For some reason in Western culture, it's not allowed because they can't profit off of it. So I've been feeling called to put out a video on YouTube, or several videos, and get talking for quite a while, and I just had these blocks. I didn't, and I felt pushed to just do it now because I think this video might, who knows, save somebody from maybe getting the vaccine. It's my understanding that vaccines are dangerous because I used to live in Egypt and I got vaccinated every time I flew, that hepatitis vaccine, maybe once every 6 months, once a year. I would always get that vaccine thinking I was protected from hepatitis B. Looking back on it all, you know, I started to get really, really sick with celiacs after my stay in Egypt, and my health was really all downhill from there. So I don't trust vaccines anymore. I do a lot of research on my own because of my illnesses, and vaccines, especially these vaccines, they haven't been tested. So if you want to be a human guinea pig, go ahead. But the ones that need to be refrigerated are carrying a bit of live wild virus in them. That's why they need to be refrigerated. So if you think you're going to be helping the public, reducing the public health risk from COVID by getting that vaccine, you might want to think twice. You might have an opposite effect. You might be spreading that the disease by getting the vaccine. I don't know. I'm not claiming anything except my story, which is I got vaccinated a lot. Then I had 2 autoimmune incurable diseases that obviously aren't autoimmune and aren't incurable because I'm cured. Did Western medicine cure me at all? No, not for this. Is Western medicine good for something? For sure. You know, sometimes we need antibiotics and surgery and stuff. What I am recommending is that you take your health into your own hands. Do consult with doctors, but you know what's best for you inside. Strike up a conversation with your body. Meditate. Dig, because the roots of disease are emotional, psycho-spiritual. It's all connected. It really is. Even if something like vaccine injury started it, illness is a complex thing. So healing is an inside job. And with all the Kambo treatments I've done, I can tell you the way that it heals you, it doesn't just, like the celiac, I was healed the first time I did Kambo. Okay, this is my story. I did Kambo for heartbreak originally, and my next blood test showed I was normal. Like my bloods for celiac was low end of normal. And I thought it was a mistake because for about a decade of getting blood tests all the time, my numbers were sky high, like over 100 they wrote, meaning they lost count, it's so sky high, over 100 units per ml. And then I get this blood test that says 6. I thought it was a mistake. I didn't make the connection to Kambo until I got home, and I was like, oh my God, could that have cured me? I ate a little bit of gluten to test it out, went back and had another test, and it showed the same number, 6, instead of greater than 100. So wow, I could eat wheat again all of a sudden. I still feel foggy when I eat a small bowl of pasta, but I'm back to eating whatever wheat I want that I feel is safe for me, that I feel called to. I'm digesting normally. It's fantastic. And I didn't have a light case of celiacs. I was sick I probably felt sick after every time I ate since I was a kid, but it progressively got worse, like I said, in 2006. It was around when I got back from living in Egypt and getting vaccinated every time I flew for 4 years. So that was really, really sick from 2006, and started getting blood tested in 2010 because I didn't want to accept the fact that I was celiac. I had a hunch, but nobody wants to learn that they're celiac and can't eat bread anymore. So I kind of avoided getting tested, and also it wasn't big back then. It wasn't well known. I actually ticked it off myself. The doctor was having me do a complete bloods, and I knew it would come out normal, and I saw anti-transglutaminase kind of jumped out at me. I Googled it. I said, oh, that's the gluten thing. I ticked it off to be tested, and sure enough, that's what came out abnormal. That's kind of like how my history with doctors goes. It's like I kind of discover what's wrong with me, and I end up curing myself, but with the help of doctors' blood tests. So that's my personal journey. So I was very, very sick, and I have these blood tests here to show you just how sick I was on a gluten-free diet. 4 years in, I'm still getting these blood tests that are 90, 100, and the doctors don't know why. They just, all they can tell me is eat a gluten-free diet. I wasn't eating in restaurants, anything. It's just, well, rarely, sometimes I did, but then it would start to flare up. It was like, I was low in calcium. I was 34 for this one blood test, and I had the bones of an 80-year-old, and he prescribed me calcium and vitamin D, which I guess is the closest thing to a natural prescription you can get. I was low in folate too. Folate is, the doctors think now that no one can possibly be low in folate because they enrich all the bread with it, and they enrich the cereal with it, and that's something third world countries have. Celiacs can be low in folate. Folate is necessary for your nerves to function properly. You have a lot of nerves in your brain, and when you're low in folate, you feel like you're going mental. You have like emotional swings, and you are a little bit, off kilter. So it was a really difficult time for me. I was really sick for many years, and it's not just like a thing, an excuse. Oh, you're celiac, so you don't have to eat this. No, it's like I was really sick. I also show, my mother died of ovarian cancer, and she had me testing, and she always said get tested for CA-125 because the doctors don't test for it, and that's the cancer marker. And I had that testing at the highest number of normal imaginable. I had this chocolate cyst that was there for like 10 years that the doctor was starting to say is an endometrioma, and I said, don't tell me that. I don't have endometriosis, no. One of the Kambo sessions, I targeted my ovaries in my ears from the acupressure points, and that not only did that cyst go away, the chocolate cyst, the blood cyst, all cysts went away, completely cleared. So Kambo also cured me of that, which could have led to cancer, endometriosis. I don't know what. I don't want to say those words. I find another good way to heal is to not identify with the disease. So if you're the type of person that hangs on to your sickness and that's your excuse for not enjoying life, this video isn't for you. I want to give you hope to getting better. And if you want to get better, you have to realize you are worth so much more than this illness. It could be your own light, your own strength, your own power, your fear of your own power and your own light that is preventing you from getting better. Maybe you don't want to shine. Part of getting better is realizing you are not this sickness. Kambo sees sickness as a gray panema, this gray cloud that accumulates over you as you get older, and this gray cloud of energy just accumulates and accumulates and causes bad luck and sickness. When you just take that off, you have all this health and all this luck and all this abundance flowing in. And it actually works. At least for me, totally worked. Weird things happen too. People just fall out of your life suddenly that aren't, like, whatever's not serving you just gets cut out. But I had those intentions going into the healing to really make myself better. So what's most important is don't give up. Know that health is normal. Sickness is not normal. I was cured of both celiacs and Graves' disease. A few years after I was cured of celiacs, a few things happened. Anger is something that sparked it, because all sickness is related, psycho-emotional, spiritual. I got really angry and my body started attacking my thyroid. Graves' disease is the scariest thing I've ever experienced in terms of a disease. I was eating like a 14-year-old boy, just pork and cheese nonstop, constantly hungry. I couldn't even afford to eat. My appetite, and I was losing weight. My heart was racing. I'm an actor and a massage therapist, so my energy needs to be normal. I can't be massaging someone in a 24-degree room and it feels like it's 35 degrees and I'm sweating, dripping sweat on them. Or go to an audition and if my nerves spike up, my whole face would go red. It's just, I couldn't work. My life was taken away. Graves' disease is horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, these thyroid problems. And then you hear the stories when you take the meds, then that brings it down, but then you can end up on meds your whole life. Now, the doctor told me it was very dangerous to not be on meds. So I can't, morally be on this video and tell you all don't take thyroid meds. You have to use your instinct. My instinct told me that I would be okay. If I took Kambo, I would be cured. Maybe for you it's different and your path is different. For me, I use CBD to keep my heart rate down until I had my first appointment for Kambo. And the practitioner went very, very slowly because your heart rate does rise when you have the frog toxin put on. And it's just kind of prolonging the torture when the frog toxin goes in, when they do it slowly. And how it works is the frog toxin, as it goes in you, your face kind of swells and everything kind of swells. So that was like prolonged and a bit torturous compared to the other Kambo sessions I had, but it worked. You have to be slow, you have to be careful. Do not attempt doing Kambo yourself at home. I don't know if I already said that. It's really important you find a professional certified Kambo practitioner. Don't ever try and eat it. You'll go crazy and die. It'll eat your brain. How Kambo is put on is a very specific process. It will scar you. So usually it's done on the ankle the first time for a woman, or your arm. You need to make little burns, like from an incense stick or end of a stick, and just to take off the first few layers of skin. And you put the frog toxin on the burn dots, and it courses through your lymphatic system. And you purge, but it's just water. There's no hallucinations. It's legal. There's no trip, except it's a bit hellish. It's catharsis. It's a trip of catharsis and of purging, and you just feel so much better after. If you're brave and you're suffering and you've tried everything and you just fell upon this video, maybe Kambo is for you. Look into it. I'm going to show you my blood test results now. Da-da-da-da, the blood test to prove it. For all the naysayers out there, here is the proofity proof. 2014, August 26th, I was super celiac. The over 19 means celiac. I was 90. Usually the blood test would be even higher. It would say greater than 100, meaning so high they lost count. This is like after being tested for 4 years, the doctor is like not understanding why. I'm on a strict gluten-free diet. I'm still super celiac. Osteopenia, meaning I had bone density of an 80-year-old and I was only 34. Folate was low, super low. That's because when you're celiac, you don't absorb your minerals properly or anything properly. You don't digest properly. And CA-125, that's an ovarian cancer marker, which is normal, but at the very highest end of normal, so scary. And when you're low in folate, that affects the mind. And so you become unbalanced mentally and emotionally, you get anxiety, and it doesn't feel good at all. Like really sick, not fun, not fun. Like who wants that? Nobody wants that. And then, you know, what people do want is, I did Kambo in 2018, and negative is less than 9, so I'm not even borderline. I'm like super negative, no celiac at all. Boom. There's the proof. The proofity proof. Cured of celiacs. Next, moving on. Hyperthyroidism, they wanted to rule out a nodule. Thyroid uptake scan. I said, no thanks. Nope, not for me. Why? Okay, to rule out a nodule, you can do an ultrasound, which I asked them to do when I had my next ultrasound for my ovary. That I just asked them to do one on my throat too for the other doctor, and they said, well, it will only be sent to this other doctor. And I said, that's fine, it's in the same building. And I took control of my own health, and I ruled out the nodule without getting this radioactive stuff pumped up in me. Like, I wonder why thyroid cancer is on the rise. It could be because so many people are taking radioactive stuff in their thyroid. So I avoided that. The hospital even called me to make an appointment, and I said, nope, not making an appointment. I even called back a second time, and I still said no. And here you can see it's proof that I was super hyperthyroid. That's a free T4 level, very high. That's hyperthyroid. TSH is the Graves' disease marker. And that's as low as it gets. I was very ill. 2018. I did Kambo once and I was no longer hyperthyroid, but I was still subclinical Graves' disease. That TSH number still wasn't normal for about a year. I kept getting blood tests every month or so, and every 3 weeks, every 3-4 weeks. And finally, I was doing Kambo once a month for a little over a year, until the doctor called me. She circled this and she said, I have good news. We don't have to follow up on your blood tests anymore. This is normal. This means you're not subclinical Graves' disease anymore. It means you don't have Graves' disease. So going from having Graves' disease to her saying you don't have Graves' disease, that means cured in a little over a year and a half, exactly. So, there's your proof. Dun, 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 dun. Love and light.